Tomorrow's parasha is Parashat Balak. The vast majority of it talks about the story of Balaam, who was hired to curse the Jewish people. However, because of the love of Hashem to his people, he transformed the curses into the blessing. And it became a blessing. Now, one of the statements that he mentioned is that this is one of the blessings that he said. In English it means, according to the translation of the Art Scroll, is that he dwells in solitude and he is not reckoned amongst the other people. So we would like to see if this statement is indeed a compliment or an insult. Is it a blessing or has bihalila otherwise? Badad means two things really, and opposing things. It means on one hand that it is shalva, and bitahon. It means that everyone is quiet and happy and safe and satisfied with himself. However, it means otherwise. In fact, the first time that the word appears in the Torah, it says "Lo tov heyot adam levado," which means that it's not good for a person to be alone. Number one, it says also about the Metzorah, "Badad yesheb michutz lamachane moshavo," that should stay alone. In fact, on Sunday we're gonna start the 3 weeks that culminates in Echa. The first pasuk is Echa yesheba badad ha'ir rabat ya'an, also at the end yesheb badad ve'idom ki natal alav. That these are contexts that badad is not good. The truth in reality, to be alone and lonely is not good. It's not really a blessing. And it's not difficult to understand what Balaam wanted, because after all, he's a Balaam. He sonnates Israel, when there is the famous midrash when Paro have his advisor have an Hakem, he is the one who said that we should kill them. He used this statement because he wanted really to curse them, but it's a blessing. So is it a blessing or otherwise? Let's explore. Usually this statement is used in two different contexts. One context is in public relation and foreign policy of Jewish leaders, and the other one is to protect the Jews from assimilating amongst other nations, the shtetl mentality, that we have to be alone, we should not intermingle with others under any circumstance. So let's talk about each one. The first one is the foreign policy. There is famous statement, in fact, a discussion between Ben Gurion and his cabinet. He mentioned that the future of the state of Israel will not be determined with what the Goyim will say or think. It will be determined with what the Jewish people do. Of course, ultimately, what will determine everything is Hashem's will. And so he said that we don't care about the public opinion. Moshe Sharet, his foreign minister at that time, he said that, this is really not true. In fact, because if it was not for the New York decision of 1947 to approve the establishment of a Jewish state in Palestine, we won't have the declaration in Tel Aviv in 1948, where you announced the establishment of a Jewish state that is called the State of Israel. one leads to the other. And in reality, it is naive to think that the public opinion does not count. In fact, as a matter of fact, Moshe Rabbeinu himself invoked this argument twice in the Torah. One after the Anyan of Aigel, the golden calf, and the other one after the spy. Both he said what the Egyptians will say, that you couldn't take them, and Hashem, of course he knows that what is Moshe Rabbeinu is leading to, and he said that, you know what, I'm going to forgive them. As a matter of fact, Hashem himself does consider public opinion. When he told the Pharaoh after Makkat Dever, one of the 10 plagues, that he said that I could have killed you, but I did not want to, because I wanted to stay so you can tell my nisim, my miracles to the land. And we see that in many other occasions by Hashem. So it is naive not to consider it. And it takes now special importance because now the Jews and the state of Israel is under tremendous assault for absolutely no reason. All of us do remember that last year, after the Gaza war, Tzuk Eitan protected that. When Hamas initiated an attack, unprovoked attack on Israel, and they started throwing missiles and Qassam on Jerusalem and on Tel Aviv, throughout the state of Israel, Israel wanted to protect itself, and people jumped. In fact, there was demonstration in Germany that was saying the slogan is Hamas, Hamas, Jews to the gas. To take Jews who were protecting themselves and their family and their homeland, to take them to the gas chamber. It will show you the sin'ah, the hatred that these people do have. In fact, only last week I read that in Ireland, big department store saying that he's not going to carry any Israeli product, not only those made in the West Bank, even in Israel proper. They have no problem carrying North Korea, or Sudan, that definitely did genocide in Darfur. They have no problem with Iran, with Venezuela. That human rights do mean absolutely nothing. They have only problem with Israel. So it is, if we let go, I think they will go unopposed. Their hatred is endless. We can block it with smart public opinions, and I was reading an article by Rabbi Sachs, Jonathan Sachs of England, the previous chief rabbi of England, who said that we should combat the BDS movement because on human rights basis that Israel is the only country in the Middle East that is democratic. We see the Arabs, they have full votes. They are on many judges, many doctors are Arabs, and so much so sometimes it becomes ridiculous because one of the Arab Knesset members went to the flotilla that was diverted last week on its way from Gaza to the port of Ashdod. So not only democratic, sometimes it goes really too far. We have to let people that we are good people. And also Rabbi Mansur talked about in his Seudah Shlishit speech at Florence Avenue. He said that we have to tell them what did we do to humanity, and he mentioned few examples: the waste system, the 4G, the vaccine against poliomyelitis. They have to know, and what the Torah said, that that we are a sinor, we are a tube, and a channel of blessing to all humanity. This is what we really stand for, and everyone, we have to know the facts and publicize them. So now, this, on the other hand, there is the other use of this phrase is that we have to protect the Jews from assimilating. Is by being with ourselves, not intermingling with anyone. It is really protective policy, protective strategy. So we don't know anything about the outside world. But does it really work? We do know that the unfortunate fate of many shtetls in Eastern Europe and Western Europe that they were decimated. There can be case to be said that if the people of the shtetls were able to use arms, probably it would have helped. Towards the end of the war, they were able to do that, and they did tremendous amount of contribution against the Nazis who wanted to annihilate us. However, a lot more than that, we can see that every major contribution to Judaism was made by people who did not subscribe to this policy at all. We start with Yosef Atzadik, that he was the viceroy of the biggest empire of that world, Egypt. Still, he kept the teaching of his father intact, and he was able to do both of them. His son Menashe, he was the foreign minister of Egypt at that time, and we can see his love of Israel. We're going to read in the next couple of weeks about the daughters of Selofhad, who are his descendant. We can see Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. He was good friend of Antoninus, the emperor of Rome. Harambam, Maimonides, he was the court physician of Salah ad-Din. All the major commentators in Spain were courtiers. They participated in the policy of the king of Spain. And now even there is Rabbi Hirsch, Raphael Shimshon Hirsch, the father of modern Orthodoxy. He ventured to say that a Jew cannot be complete until he is able to assimilate the civilization and the culture of the people around him, and add to them our Judaic studies, our Judaic values, rather. So it is that we can combine both. In fact, with that, we will be able to show the people that what is Judaism all about. After all, this is our religion is the first one who did he regulated the power of the kings. They can't have too much money, or susim, or case, or nashim. He regulated the slavery system. It established the morality laws, and on and on and on. So here, it is my opinion, and it is my private opinion, is that to just be with ourselves is not good enough. It doesn't bring Kiddush Hashem to the world. Only by contributing to humanities, and the Jews did contribute to humanity, we can bring Kiddush Hashem. At that time they will say that when we preserve the Torah, they will say that how wonderful people is. So we can learn here the two lessons. We cannot wait until until with the real public opinion, when we say ישמחו שמיים ואת הארץ ויאמרו בגויים אדוני מלך, that the people will say that Hashem is Melech. We can't wait until the people will say as יאמרו בגויים הרדיל אדוני לעשות עמנו, that is the best public opinion that we can have.